Hello everyone, welcome back to another topic discussions. So today's topic is how to prepare for a tele interview. This is the end of the year and a lot of multinational organizations or large organizations, even other organizations, are in a drive to recruit new talent for their offices, or what do I say, as plans of expansions. So I suppose this is the right time for me to put in this video here as to how to prepare for a tele interview. And the points that I'm going to discuss here are with regard to how to present yourself to an interviewer. So I'm not going to speak from a candidate's point of view, but from a recruiter's point of view. So you can actually understand like what are the things that the recruiter is looking for you or in you when you are going or attending a tele interview. Okay, I hope this is useful. Moreover, to understand different kinds of interviews, I have already done a video on 25 different types of interviews, so you know how you can prepare for different kinds of interviews. So today what we are going to discuss is only about how to prepare for tele interviews. For different kinds of interviews, you'll have to do different kinds of preparations, and tele interviews are the interviews which we do before a candidate is invited for a personal interview. We try to do an initial screening, or we call it as a tele interview. Now after the tele interview, or if the organization prefers a video interview, they are opting for video interviews as well. Then again, there are the next step interviews where the recorded formats of interviews happen. So again, there are various types of interviews. Please go through the link I have given below with regard to various 25 different kinds of interviews where I have discussed, or where I am mentioning the different kinds of interviews. So accordingly you can prepare. So right now I'm going to discuss only with regard to tele interviews and how you can prepare yourself for tele interviews. Okay, as I mentioned, it is the end of the year and many organizations look forward to for expansions or bring in new talent as part of their expansion plan, or they do internal revamping in talent. So this is a time where a lot of organizations are in the market to recruit people. So whatever is your situation, and as I always say, like there are humpty number of data available on the internet with regard to how to prepare. These points would be completely on basis of my own perceptions of how and what I expect from my candidates whom I'm planning to hire for my organizations. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful to all of you out there who are planning for a change, and especially I think this will be helpful for the beginners. Others would already have an idea on how to go about tele interviews and all. So yes, let me get to the point. So tele interviews, I'm going to term it as 5 C's that are required for tele interviews. The first point that I'm going to discuss is clarity over correctness. So when I say clarity over correctness is when you're giving answers to the interviewer, if you are clear about the answer, that is what matters more than the correctness of the answer. Like not everybody is well versed in communication skills. Not everybody is so 10 on 10 with regard to the communication skills. So as a recruiter, I do not expect 100% performance from a candidate, expecting the candidate to give me a fantastic or correct 100% correct answer whenever I'm asking questions. If I understand that the candidate have the right clarity of thinking with regard to the answer and is unable to communicate, we can analyze. As recruiters, we can always analyze where the candidate stands with regard to the knowledge and with regard to the communication skills. So even if you do not have good communication skills, but you're clear about the answers, you can convey the answer in whatever the skill, on whatever the capacity you can communicate. Even if your English grammar is bad, even if your language skills are minimal, but if you know the technicality of the subject, do communicate. And then when we come to the point of communication, there are jobs that require people with good communication skills, and there are jobs which require people not necessarily with good communication skills but with good technical knowledge. So not everybody is skilled enough to have good communication skills, but if you do have good communication skills, well and good, it's fantastic. But even if you do not have a good communication skills but you have good technical knowledge and you have good understanding of the subject, go for the interview. Do not be just do not be worried about your communication skills. Just give the clarity, give the explanations in whatever broken language you can speak, no problem at all, but go ahead and convey your whatever is your answer. So that is where we come to the second point of C, that is confidence. You must have a confidence in yourself, okay, that you can deliver the answer or you can deliver the job. We do not expect a candidate to know A to Z of a job, but a candidate to have an attitude to do the job. Okay, as a recruiter, I'm not looking for a candidate with 100% capacity to complete a job or to be thorough with everything that he or she does on the job. I'm looking for a candidate with an attitude, who has an attitude to do the job, even if he or she doesn't know the job, but has the capacity to fix the whatever is he or she is unable to do, can fix the job or fix the situation. Okay, let me give you an example here. For example, an IT professional. I'm looking for an IT professional or an IT executive for my organization, and I ask him or her, like, do you know, are you good in, or maybe a coding specialist or whoever. Okay, I'm looking for platform engineer or a software engineer. I'm looking for a IT specialist. I'll just put it as, so for better understanding, I'll just put it as okay, I'm looking for a software professional for my organization, and I ask the person, are you well versed in C++? Maybe he or she has done some projects in C++ and right now is focusing on other languages and is not well versed in specific IT language, but has the confidence to do it because has done a previous project in the university or college and has the knowledge, but has the confidence to complete a project. And as I mentioned, even if you do not know how to do it, now with multiple multiple outlets where we can learn from and do a specific project. Like we had officers who were not well versed in Excel. I'm talking about so many years ago, okay, people who were not well versed in Excel, but we used to search for the formulas and implement it. So in the same way, it may be a little time consuming, but if you have the attitude to learn and understand and exhibit your job, then please show that confidence. Okay, even if you do not know, just if you have the confidence and the capacity to learn and execute the job, go for it and present yourself to the recruiter in such a manner that you are capable of doing the job, even if you are not thorough about everything. Okay, maybe you're not good in this specific software or coding language, but you're better in the other language. So you can even educate the recruiter saying that I'm not good at this, but I can use this specific. Does your project require this specific language, or does your project require the other language? So, at least even if the recruiter would be able to understand if we can replace this specific position with a person with the specific knowledge, or if we can consider this person for a different project. So if you can communicate and convey your confidence, that also makes a lot of difference to the recruiter. Okay, so this is my second point. Now the third point is, for the tele interview, you must choose a space where you can focus on the interview, because when you're going for an interview, or even when you're doing a tele interview or a video interview, it is something very essential that you choose a space where you can focus, because you're also looking for non-verbal cues in an interview. Not only the words that the recruiter is saying or the interviewers are saying, you must focus on the non-verbal cues as well, like it will help you in understanding what is a framework from where they are working, or what they are expecting from a candidate like you. You need not read through a lot with regard to the non-verbal cues, but at least the basics, the basic of understanding, like what is their intention when they're asking certain questions, and you can at least make an understanding of the situation. So choose a space where you can actually focus on the interview. Even if you're not able to focus on the non-verbal cues, at least you create a situation where you are calm and focused. You're not distracted by anything that is happening around you, and you can actually focus on the interview and the interviewer, rather than focusing on other factors which may disturb you. Like, I have seen people opting for coffee shops and cafes, but I would strongly disagree with those kind of candidates to not to choose coffee shops and cafes where you have a lot of distractions going on for certain kind of interviews. Okay, I'm talking about tele interviews, to avoid the coffee shops or cafes. Again, I have discussed this specific point in that my 25 different types of interviews, where you have interviews being conducted in cafes and coffee shops. That's for different kind of positions. So when I'm talking about tele interviews, please try to avoid cafes or coffee shops, but rather opt for a secluded space where you can actually focus on the interview and the interviewer. Okay, so the fourth point is clear requirements. We call tele interviews a pre-screening, like pre-screening in the sense, like before we call you for a proper interview, we require just to understand, like if you meet the basic requirements of a job specification. It's like you should have an understanding of what is your notice period that you can give to your current employer, what is your current salary, and what are your expectations from the new firm. And the fourth point would be your references. And of course, your certificates and other documents are intact. So you clear your requirements, the basic requirements you need to be clear and made ready, so that when a tele interviewer calls, you are quick to answer them with what is your notice period, what's your expectations, what's your current salary. If you have your references and certificates intact, you should be able to be ready to answer those questions. Okay, so this part you have to be prepared. Of course, the other part, I'm sure all the candidates who are there to take part in an interview would be prepared on all the technical knowledge and studies on the organization. All those things I'm sure you'll be preparing. Search and learn and be ready. So these things, I'm just saying, mandatory requirements, along with your knowledge, your education, and your research on the organization. Apart from all that, these four things you have to be very, very clear about these requirements. Okay. Fifth point is company site tests. Okay, so I told you that even if your communication skill is not good, the recruiters or the interviewers have the mechanism to test and understand your knowledge level and technical skill level. Okay, so once your tele interview, you clear it. So your first job in your tele interview to ensure that give your best possible presentations in the answers and in your confidence level, so that to prove to them in the next level as well. Okay, so even if the candidate is unable to communicate in the right manner to the interviewer or to the recruiter, you have an option. You are confident enough, you have the attitude or right skills to learn from the job. They may call you for a second round of interview, asking you to come for a test. Okay, or if you think that you do not, or if the interviewer think that the candidate doesn't have good communication skills but have good knowledge on the subject or have good technical knowledge on the subject, how do we test the technical knowledge of a candidate? We ask them to come over to the company's wherever the on-site is. Okay, wherever the company or the job is going to be, we ask them to come over there and we give them a test to understand or evaluate their knowledge on the subject or their technical skills. Okay, so this is why I said that do not worry even if your communication skill is not good. Try to convey that you have the knowledge with regard to the subject, so that you get another opportunity to go and prove to them that you have the required skills to do the job. 5 points that I believe that all the candidates who are preparing for tele interviews must be ready with. The first point is clarity over correctness. Second point is choose a space where you can focus. Third point is clear requirements. Fourth point is exhibit good confidence. Fifth point is company site tests and evaluations. Thank you for spending time here. Until we meet next time. Bye bye.